Well, I'm going to throw in some varieties of wrestling promotions such as World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, or just simply Diana, Gatoh Move, and of course, Oz Academy, which is the first time I actually get to see their events. We even got New Japan Strong, where they just started doing the New Japan Cup USA tournament. And also, Hardcore Justice by Impact Wrestling. So let's get this party started on another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host, J Rod here. Now, as you know, we just had WrestleMania week. I will not release the review till the following day, which is Monday. Today is Sunday. I haven't had the chance to do this one, but I want to get that out of the way so I can focus on WrestleMania. So let's do that right now. So, first one is World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, or simply Diana. This time it took place on the 21st of March, which was my brother's birthday. It was about a month ago at their dojo in Kawasaki. Now, keep in mind these matches, they have only 3 matches that they normally put out, which is fine. But some of the girls I may recognize or haven't. Now, let's start with the first match. Um, First match is Madeline taking on this figure named Hope. Now, apparently, from what I can tell, Hope is just another character they developed. Nobody knows who's going to portray. But in this one, it was portrayed by Asuka, or as we know her on the AEW Women's World Eliminator, Venny. She actually portrayed her. It was a pretty good match because it shows the determination the Madeline wants to, you know, to beat Hope, but apparently it wasn't enough. Even though in the previous Hope person who portrayed this persona, after the match she revealed herself, but in this case it did not happen that way. So basically, Madeline did a good job, but even though she came up short against Hope, but they decided not to reveal who was this Hope right now. So it's kind of like that whole thing with Princess Diaries, where the great something, So that's kind of the same thing. But I'm cool with that. It's kind of interesting. But hopefully the next time I see it, it'll be the same thing. Next match, we got a tag team match. We got Ami Miura and Nanami versus Luminous, consistent of Aruka Umusaki and Miyuki Takase. Now, Luminous has been one of those tag teams that I have paid attention. They are a strong tag team. I think they are the current Diana tag team champions. Not 100% sure yet if that's the case, but I'll find out as soon as possible. But it was a good match. But however, I did suspect the Luminous was going to win because I look at Naname. She's like, think of her as the young girl who's still under training. And Miura actually is the more veteran type. But it kind of worked out its way. I said Luminous has been one of those strong tag teams that I have paid attention, but they also are the team that actually won the match. Then finally, the main event, another tag team. We got Kura Ito and Koyoko Unoue taking on Crisis, consistent of Ayako Sato and Jaguar Yokata. Now, this particular match was also become like one of those. I think Crisis were like more. Think of them as a new version of Suzuki Goon, but they just don't play by the rules. But that's what it really was. They brought in tables and no, they brought in chairs, whatever weaponry, but it did not work. But however, they kind of went on a protest on a losing effort against Ito and Inoue. So basically, they lost. They cannot overturn it, even though the winning team won fair and square. So I enjoy watching these, but that's how it rolls. So let's move on to the next one right now. Okay, so this is a brand new um, review from Oz Academy. This is a promotion I have heard of, but I never got the full story. So Oz Academy is another Yoshi promotion, but here's what I got from them. Um, the promotion was founded by Mayumi Ozaki, who was working in Gale Japan promotion in the mid 90s. Um, Ozaki formed the villainous Oz Academy stable with Chikayo Nagashima, Enrico Mano, and Sugar Sato. Eventually, they opened up a training school under the same name. Oz Academy eventually started promoting sporadic independent events featuring members of the stable and Ozaki's trainees, with the first event held in June 21st, 1998, following the folding of Gale Japan in 2005. Ozaki turned Oz Academy into a full promotion with full schedule, approximately one to two events per month, while also recruiting veterans wrestlers like Aja Kong, Dynamite Kansai, and Sonoko Kato to serve as the backbone of the promotion. Oz Academy would remain without championships nearly 9 years before introducing the Oz Academy Open Weight Championship in March 2007 and the Oz Academy Tag Team Championship in July of 2008. So basically, this is also like their own promotion. I have, from what I understand, many other wrestlers from different promotions actually come there as well. Once in a while, they'll have male wrestlers in this promotion just for the heck of it, but I don't mind. So this is their latest event that was came out on April 4th of this year called Silver Bullet. First match, it was Ozaki Gun, consistent of Maya Yukihi, Saito Inoue, and Yumi Oka taking on Sakura Hirota, Koni, and Aja Kong. Now, you could assume in a way by hearing the names Aja Kong, yes, she actually was there. It was great seeing her. But however, the match kind of went into Osaki Gun's way because, as you know, they're the villain faction in the promotion, from what I can tell. And they use every trick in the book to obtain the win. And that's what they did. Next match is a men's match, which is Mitsuhisa Sanabe taking on Hiraku Sato. This was more of a bit of an MMA with submission type scenario with these two guys. It was pretty cool. I like it. I mean, I've seen this type of matches in in certain promotions, but having it in Oz Academy was pretty interesting. Even though I don't know these guys, but it was a good match. But it was Sato who picked up the victory through a submission, so it was good. Next match is a tag team match. We got Izuki Aoki, who I've seen before, Tsubasa Kuraki, taking on Reiwa Ultima Powers, consisting of Hiroyo Matsumoto and Dash Shisako. Now, basically, I don't know who the second team is that much, but they seem like a very fun team to watch from what I saw. But from what I thought, in the way I thought with Aoki and Kirugawi, was it, Kiragaki, Kiragaki actually were gonna win this one, but nope, it did not. It went to the second team, and I was impressed. They really impressed me a lot. I would definitely follow them. So yeah. So next match is a championship match. We have the Oz Academy Tag Team Championships being defended. Challengers Beast Friends with you, which is YUU, and Kaido Yoneyama. You may know her as Kokigen Death or many others. She is in this match taking on Mission K4, consisted of Kakeru Sekiguchi, who I've seen on Actress Girls, and Kaho Kobashi. Now, this was also a very interesting match, but I can tell like the champions were determined to retain the titles, but somehow it wasn't enough. It was, in fact, Yonayama who actually picked up the victory, and it was unbelievably amazing to see them that they finally won. But however, post match, the former champions' friend is disappointed that they lost. It kind of like sucks. They were crying. They just don't know. I don't know what they were saying. But it was an interesting storyline how it was. Now the next match is the main event. The Oz Academy Openweight Championship was on the line with Sonoko Kato taking on Mayumi Ozaki. Now this particular match was one of those matches where Ozaki, her faction were there to help out, and they had their own referee to ensure that the match goes in their favor. But what's her name? Kato actually tried, even though she pins the Ozaki, but it always kicks out. Or if Ozaki's unable to get up, her cronies are the ones who help her. But this time, it goes to the other ref who was not supposed to be there, but he did it, allowing for Kato to win the open weight title, which is amazing. So we'll see what's next going on, but I'm assuming that Ozaki is not a happy camper. So let's move on with Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling, ChocoPro 104. All right, so we got Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling with ChocoPro 104 that took place on April 10th. This is part of the weekend they have, but however, they decided not to do it in their regular venue. They headed out to the Pro Wrestling Heat Up uh, gym or whatever they were doing. They had three consistent match. Now, first match we got Sayaka taking on Mei Shigura. Pretty good match. I love Mei Shigura. She is so unbelievably fun to watch. Not to mention she is the Big Apple. That's what they call her. I would have assumed she was gonna win because she is the top dog in Gatoh Move, but it was great. I love her ways, how she acts. You know, she acts like a little girl. A bit more similar to Yuka Sakazaki, but much different. And she really pulled off the match with a great submission. I don't know what she calls it, but it's kind of bizarre, but it worked. So she won her match through submission. Next match, we got another tag team. We got Tamura and Rinrin taking on Tokiko Kiruhara and Antonio Honda. Now, you all know Antonio Honda. He's a very funny guy. He even tries to pretend that he knows what he's doing. He likes to be despicable. He likes to do nasty things. That's what he's doing. Now, I would have assumed, in a way, that Tamura was going to win because he looks like a tough guy, but both Tamura and Rinrin got beaten senselessly in a funny faction by Honda and of course Kiruhara. I'm like, how can that lie happen to these guys? How can they lose to Honda and like this? But Honda is a veteran wrestler. He is very funny for what he does. If you guys haven't seen him, then looking him up on YouTube. So, Kiruhara and Honda won their match. Now, the next match, this one was a very crazy match. It was a tag team match. We have Chiko Ishikawa teaming with Tetsuya Ishii of Heat Up, taking on Balian Aki and Minoru Fujita. Now, the match was great, but however, there was a botch. Yeah, you guys heard me. There was a botch. While outside the ring, Koshikawa was facing Fujita outside. Now, this is what happened from what I did not expect. Uh, Koishikawa actually was right in front of the punching bag, but in front of beyond the punching bag, between the bag and the wall, Fujita was right there, and Koshikawa just slammed him there, but he got slammed through a wall, and there was a dent in the wall. People were in shock. Tamura was not too pleased with that, but however, Balianaki said, I'll pay for it. So basically, they messed up. I don't know how Heat Up would handle it. I'm going to assume that Emi Sakura would apologize for that wall being having a hole, but we'll see about that in the upcoming future. But the match went great. But however, it did ended up in favor of Balianaki and Minoru Fujita. But I have to say, I did not expect for a dent in that wall whatsoever. I am assuming that everybody was in shock. They couldn't believe that they damaged a part of that place of Heat Up's location. I'm like, wow, can't even imagine it. But I hope they pay the bill for that. So I think that's it. So let's move on with New Japan Strong. All right, so we got New Japan Strong. As you know, we just begun the tournament of the New Japan Cup. As you know, last year we had Kenta who won the briefcase for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. But however, this year, it's different. Whoever wins this tournament is going to be the first ever inaugural strong open weight champion. Now, they just begun with the matches, so let's do that right now. So for match number one is Clark Connors versus Lio Rush. Man, this was a good one. As you know, Clark Connor is, of course, the fan favorite since he is a young lion and he's on the verge of graduating. But Lio Rush, we know we've seen him around the band and the independent scenes. But to me, I felt Clark Connors should have won this one because he is the fan favorite. But however, I think Lio Rush is one of those talent that was overlooked ever since he was with WWE. Can't wait what he's gonna do now. But I was surprised that Lio Rush won the match. Uh, it's kind of interesting, but I'm willing to see how they're gonna go far with Lio Rush being in it. Next match we have Tom Lawler versus Ren Narita. Now keep in mind, Ren Narita is also on the verge of graduating, but he does have a little bit of history with Tom Lawler due to the fact that he beat up his boy, Chris Dickinson. And of course, Lawler has some harsh words against Shibata, the way he trains his young lions. But to be honest with you, I would have assumed in the beginning from this match that we were going to have an upset because Ren Narita has surprised us. He already defeated Chris Dickinson with a big, huge surprise. But with Lawler, that would have been another surprise. But in this story, how it goes, Lawler underestimated Ren Narita because he thought he was just another easy chump, that he's going to eat his dirt, all of that. But no, Ren Narita was strong, but however, he wasn't strong enough to um, get away from Tom Lawler when he did that little kick on him and then put him in submission, allowing himself to lose the match. So Tom Lawler would win. Now he's one of those guys who would definitely believe himself that he could win all the way. Now the next match, this is a grudge match that goes back months ago. As you know, Fred Rosser defeated Hakulo by using his hair against him. Now Hakulo has been protesting that Fred Rosser did something illegal, but however, New Japan actually did not pay attention. They decided to let it slide. But however, Hakulo hasn't forgotten. But this time, this was a match where he gets a little bit of payback. I was surprised that Fred Rosser tried to play it smart as possible. You know, knowing that he knows he's facing a huge guy, that whatever trick that he has up his sleeve, it was gonna work. But you can't keep the big man down. Come on, the dude is huge. I wouldn't mess with him. But it was a good match. But however, Fred Rosser came up short, and Hakuleo is now, in the tournament. Continue on. Nico is here. He'll probably say that if Hakuleo wins, that means that's something great for the Bullet Club. Now we get to the main event: Chris Dickinson versus Brody King. This is a match that was rather interesting. If you call last week, Chris Dickinson and Brody King are part of the same faction, Unchained, Unlimited. This faction happened in Ring of Honor, but I think they know what's at stake in New Japan, knowing that one of them could have the opportunity to become the first ever strong openweight champion. It was another good match, but however, it would have been a great match all the way due to the fact that, you got Chris Dickinson, who's also part of Team Lawler, uh, Team Filthy, but you got Brody King, a monster. I'm like, this is also another good match to pay attention. But I kind of expected this was going to go in his way. So Brody King won by pinning Chris Dickinson. I'm like, wow. I enjoyed it. I love it. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next round. So this was just the first round. So that's pretty much it. So let's move on with Impact Wrestling Hardcore Justice. All right, so the last thing I got is Impact Wrestling's Hardcore Justice. This event happened at the last possible timing. Uh, what's his name? Scott D'Amore actually gave Tommy Dreamer to become the executive to take full control of it, and that's what he did. So the first match was a triple threat tag team match. First team, we got Madman Fulton and Ace Austin, the X Division champion, taking on TJP and Fallah Ball, taking on Josh Alexander, and of course, X Division original and the best wrestler in TNA's history and Impact's history, Petey Williams. I was surprised to see him. I was expecting, watching Petey, he was going to pull off the favorite move, has been duplicated, but he is the only one who perfected it. I'm talking about the Canadian Destroyer. I love the Canadian Destroyer. But you wouldn't imagine. I say Josh Alexander picked the perfect partner. If you're going to be involved in the X Division, then you know perfectly well who you could have in your team. And that is someone who's been X Division, who has been dominant in the X Division before. And I'm talking about Petey Williams. And I'm surprised that they won the match because it fits perfectly. I wouldn't be surprised if Petey Williams becomes his coach to help him win. But I'm excited. Now, next match, we got a chairly legal match, which all chairs are legal. You have to use it. It's between Shera and Hernandez. Now, these two guys have a bit of, as you know, Shera had his problems with Rohit. Hernandez had his, so basically decided to duke it out. All chairs. But however, I'm like, what the F just happened near the end? Rohit Raju whacked Hernandez, allowing Shera to win. Last time we saw those two, Rohit got into his face, blaming him that he couldn't get the X Division title. But however, is this Rohit Raju's trying to find peace with them? I don't know. But we'll see down the line what happens in this upcoming Thursday. Now, in the Swingers Palace, as you know, Sabin and Storm had the night off. Then Triple XL tries to start something, but however, it looks like Storm had a plan, so he called the drinking match. But here comes Matt Cardona, was wondering what the hell is going on, and Swinger got into his face. And then we hear the infamous words, "Match time!" And they're like, this is not the house. Apparently, it's not, but however, Tommy Dreamer is in charge, so he set up this match between Swinger and Cardona in a mystery crate box match. Yeah, don't ask me, but it was a fun match. I'll get to it. Next match, we got Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson taking on Black Toros along with Crazy Steve. This match was also a good one because you got two behemoths. You got a bull and this tall dude. But however, that match went into Gallows' favor. All thanks to Anderson to ensure that Gallows wins his match, costing Toros to lose it, and Gallows wins his match. Now, Violent by Design are in the main event. They have a strong message towards Dreamer and his team. It was revealed who his team was. He picked Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack. Great pick. And that's what's happened. Now we get to the mixed street crate match between Swinger and Cardona. The match was great. I'm surprised that Cardona hasn't been hit in this match with any of the crates, but there was a funny moment. Swinger got himself a mousetrap in his hand. I'm like, who set up a mousetrap? But however, something happened. In the last crate box, what's his name? No, the second to last crate box, Cardona decided not to mess with it. But however, he did win the match when he put the lights out on Swinger. So must be an embarrassment time. But however, Cardona took the mystery box. I don't know what's in it, but he just took it with him. I'm like, what's in it? Show us. But it wouldn't be the last time we hear from it. Next, then we still continue to see the drunk match, which they continue to drink, both Triple XL, Sabin, and Storm. So it goes on and on until finally, in the end, they ended up in a beer pong, then a brawl. I don't know. I feel like we got a new version of beer money with Sabin and Storm. I don't know why, but it's pretty interesting. I'm not comparing them as beer money, but their attitude's almost similar. Now, as you know, Sami Callihan, he's been very vocal about Trey Miguel, saying that he has no passion, he's lack of it. Basically, he's been getting on his nerves over this. So he called out for an open challenge, and the person to challenge was Sam Beal, who manipulated him and all this and that. However, it wasn't enough for Beal to beat Callahan. It was a crying shame that happened. But I'm like, that sucks. Now we get to the hardcore blindfold match, which was between Brian Myers and Jake Something. As you know, Jake Something slammed Jake Something to his eye to the steel stairs, the steel steps, and Tommy Dreamer set it up this past Thursday. But however, the match was kind of funny. But it kind in a way, once again, the so-called the professional wrestler used the ref under his advantage. He cheated by taking off the mask. And then all of a sudden, we see Cardona with his mystery box. I don't know what it's about, but however, ref got up. He had his mask. He didn't know where Cardona was. But what was in the box, Jake Something used it, and they had a crate full of action figures. Yeah, you heard me, a crate full of action figures. I thought that was pretty dope. But it was funny. But did allow for Jake Something to win. But this is far from over between this feud between Cardona and Myers. Now, the next match is a number one contenders knockouts weapons match. So basically, we have 6 women. We got Rosemary, Tennille Dashwood, Jordan Grace, Alicia, Havoc, and Susan. But all of a sudden, we saw the return of Su Yung. So basically, Su Yung is back. The match was like intense, but however, I knew one person was going to walk away, and that person is Tennille. But the match was great, but however, it could have gone in favor of Havoc if it wasn't for all of a sudden the interference of Nevaeh, who still has her grudge. But however, Caleb shows up and took advantage of it and decided to make sure that Tennille Dashwood wins. Now, this is my thing about Tennille. She says she wants to win, but however, I have a feeling that there's going to be a bit of a story here with her and whoever wins the Knockouts title. But that's another conversation for another time. Now, we get to the Knockouts title versus career between Jazz and Deonna Purrazzo. This match was also good. It kind of showed you got the past versus the present. You don't know what to expect from it, but it's so amazing to see it because I did not expect a whole lot. But of course, it had to come to an end. So it was Deonna Purrazzo who actually, beat Jazz, and now she can say that she is now the true person to spread the word. But however, Like I said, I don't know how she would feel for Tennille Dashwood being her competitor. And not to mention, she was all alone. Kimberly is still out on injury. Susan is gone because return of Sue Young, and I'm sure she's not going to be pleased with that whatsoever. Now, I think we got the main event, which is the hardcore war between Violent by Design and members of the Impact team. So basically, it started out kind of like one of those Rumble matches, but we got Eddie Edwards coming out, then Diener, then finally Rhino, Willie Mack, Joe Dorian, Rich Swann, area. But here's the thing. Prior before the match started, someone attacked Tommy Dreamer. But Scott D'Amore said he'll take care of it. And the last person to come out, I have to say, was a good choice, and that was Trey Miguel. But sadly, it did not end properly. Apparently, Eric Young won the match when he applied the power driver onto Willie Mack, allowing for Violent by Design to be the most strongest faction. So, but what's gonna happen next? There's still some certain things that are people are talking about. We're talking about Heath. When is he coming back? How is he gonna react to Rhino being part of this group that put him out of action? I don't know. So I think that's pretty much it. So keep in mind, the next video will be the WrestleMania one. That will be released the following day after it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.